Gridiron gang.
And we're live.
We are back.
It's our first video, and I know what you're thinking. We're a heck of a lot uglier than you thought we were. But stick around. We hope to, have a really good conversation with you today about our power rankings.
That's right. Episode 12. Wednesday, May 27th. We're recording Tuesday. You'll get this Wednesday. We're very excited. It's our first episode on YouTube. Hello, folks. Everybody who's been following us on our podcast, Gridiron Gang Football Podcast, thank you so very much. Do us a quick favor. Head on over to youtube.com and look us up, Gridiron Gang Football Podcast. Give us a like, subscribe, do all those cool things. And
that's what they always tell us. Just go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. You can if you want to. I don't really care. I do care, but I'm not going to force you to doing something. Also, go to our podcast, Gridiron Gang Football Podcast. Give us a shot, then subscribe to us on Twitter. You know what? I do care. Subscribe to us all, just all of it.
Let us know what you think. This is our 12th episode and our first ever power rankings heading into the 2020 NFL season, which is looking like it more and more. We will have a season. We don't know if it's going to start on time, but we will have a season, and that's very exciting for sure.
Absolutely.
Why don't we go ahead and get started? We have a very big episode this week. We're going to be talking about our power rankings. Drew, why don't you tell everybody the format of how we're going to do these power rankings?
So I don't know how Pedro's done it. Like I said, we have not seen each other's power rankings. This is our own individual ones. We're just going to have fun with it. We're going to split it up into 8 sections, 4 teams apiece. I have mine labeled. I'll tell you my labels as we go, and then we'll do me first, my bottom 4, his bottom 4, and then I'll do the next tier, and he'll do his next tier, and then we'll just keep going up and up to into the final 4. So we hope that you guys enjoy it. Please do not be offended if your team is in our bottom 4. Sorry, Cincinnati Bengals fans.
But sure, let us know what you think, though.
Exactly.
Let us know what you think.
This is this thing right here. We want to have a conversation with you. Our format is we'd have a guest, and hopefully, in episodes to come, we'll have more guests on here. It's just that it's been so crazy with the NFL draft, with free agency, with coronavirus. We have not had any available people or that could come on, or we didn't just have time. But we want to have you on here. So reach out to us. You want to be on our show, you'll be on our show. Yeah,
for everybody who's new to us, Gridiron Game Football Podcast, you can catch our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you listen to podcasts, and now we're on YouTube. And we are a fan podcast for the fans by 2 regular fans.
That's right.
Nothing special about us.
We're not experts. This guy didn't know what a football was till like 2 years ago.
well, 5. So
anyway,
get it right. But yeah, we do want you guys to be able to join us. Our email is gridirongangfootballpodcast@gmail.com. It's very important for us to have that connection with you guys. Very important for us. So why don't we go ahead and just get started?
Let's do it. All right. So I have these bottom 4 teams that know they are not good. Okay, these are teams that literally just don't know. They know they're not good. So we'll start off with the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals are coming off of an offseason that has been pretty promising, even though they had a horrible year last year. They had number 1 overall pick, of course, and I think Joe Burrow can possibly turn that thing around, especially T. Higgins, and then they revamped their secondary. They're getting their first-round draft pick from last year back after he hurt his shoulder. So I think that even though I have them at my 32nd ranked team, by default, they have the number 1 overall pick. Therefore, they are the worst team, in my opinion. Number 31, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I do believe that this year, they might pretend right now that they're not tanking. They're going to tank. I don't think Gardner Minshew is the guy. He's not the answer. I think they know that, but he's going to sell tickets. Him and his jorts and his beautiful mustache.
Beautiful.
I believe that he's definitely going to fill the stands. He's talented, but do you think that he is the franchise?
I don't. And
no.
And if they do think that, they're going to quickly realize that he's not. But I don't even think they believe it.
That's right, Chad Kahn. Listen to us. And then number 30, Washington Redskins. And now, we've talked in the years past, in episodes past, where the Washington Redskins are winners, and we do believe that. The thing is, they are the second worst team by default, and by having the second overall pick. But I have them higher than the Jacksonville Jaguars because of their new head coach hire, the fact that they have Chase Young. But you can just listen to the last week, 2 weeks ago. That's where we're at. That was just why they're winners. They have a very promising young team. Don't think they're going to be great this year. Don't expect them to go to the playoffs. That's why they're here. Number 29, we have the Miami Dolphins. I have them this low because Tua, they've not named him the starter. They have Austin Jackson, who is a young developmental guy. I think that he is going to be good in the future because right now he's not as 100% because he did that bone marrow transplant for his sister, and he's not 100%. And then I still don't understand why they drafted Noah Igabaghi because they have the best duo cornerbacks in this entire NFL on paper, and I think that was a reach to get him too. I mean, I don't want to hate on the kid, but I don't think he was a first round talent, especially when you have other great players rating in the waiting. Anyway, that's why they're there. I wouldn't start Tua this year. Let Fitzmagic do his thing. You got 2 draft picks next year in the first round. Take it as it is. Pedro, what about you?
We're close. We're close, but we're not quite there. Number 32, the worst team in the league right now for me, the Washington Redskins. I had them as winners last week.
Yeah.
But again,
exactly. We said they were winners in the offseason. Does not mean they're going to be in the Super Bowl.
It just means that they had a good offseason. They had moves and drafted players that will make them a lot better for their future. Hence, a good offseason. Doesn't mean this year they're going to immediately get results. So the Washington Redskins, of course, we know they got key pieces like Chase Young. They got a couple of Antonios in the draft. Antonio Gandy Golden from Liberty, and Antonio Gibson from Memphis, who is being labeled as a wide receiver on NFL.com, but he can also play running back. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they use him moving forward. But the team really needed help in that offensive line, and they didn't really get it until the 4th round, where they drafted Sadiq Charles out of LSU. And he's probably going to start left tackle, but I don't think that a 4th rounder is just going to fix that offensive line. And even if it was a 1st rounder, just one player, one rookie doesn't fix an offensive line like that. And this is a team that gave up the 5th most sacks last year with 50. So whoever's at quarterback, whether it's Haskins or whether it's Kyle Allen, they're going to need to protect them. And
exactly.
This team was 3-3, 3-13 last year, so they will get better. And I like their future outlook because I'm a Ron Rivera fan.
Yeah, I'm too.
But it's not going to be this year, and that's why they're so low in my rankings. Number 31, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the season they are dead last. But they got some good talents in the NFL draft. They took C.J. Henderson, Chase Young, 1st round, and then they followed it up with a promising wide receiver.
What was it?
Chase Young. Caleb Chase Young.
Oh, Chase Young. Okay,
Chase
sorry.
Young.
I thought you said Chase Young.
Listen, for those of you that don't know me, English is my second language, so just bear with me.
I'll translate for you. It's
Get
okay.
to know me.
He's
Bear
Caleb
with me.
Chase Young, the guy from LSU.
And they took a promising wide receiver, Laviska Shenault Jr., to complement their breakout wide receiver, as it seems, DJ Chark do. So, but I'm not convinced with Gardner Minshew. I know you've talked about it. I'm not. And this is a team that was in the middle of the pack last year in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and sacks given up. So where does this passing offense go? Do they take a turn for the good, or do they take a turn for the worse? I can see it either way. But will Gardner Minshew take that second-year step forward, or will he regress and show us kind of who he really is with a full season?
The actual 6th-round player that he is,
Again, I'm not sold. And this rushing game is just as bad. I mean,
shut up, Leonard Fournette.
He had the 7th most rushing attempts. He only had 3 touchdowns though. Guess who also had 3 rushing touchdowns?
Who?
Tom Brady.
Yikes.
I'm not sold. They tried to get rid of him. Nobody wanted him. They wouldn't even give up a 7th round pick for him. So, I'm not looking forward to this season. I wouldn't be surprised if in Cleveland next year, the 2021 draft, we hear that the Jacksonville Jaguars, with first pick of the 2021 draft, take Trevor Lawrence, quarterback out of Clemson.
That would make me nauseated.
Number 30, the Cincinnati Bengals, 2-14 last year. This team has talent in skill positions. They have Joe Mixon, they have Tyler Boyd, they still have AJ Green, which we don't know how his health is, but they added T. Higgins, and now they have Joe Burrow. It's trending well. I'm excited for the future, but it won't be this year. This year, I still expect them to get better, but I also still expect them to kind of suck. So let's temper our expectations on Joe Burrow, because I know what he did.
He's a rookie,
What he did at LSU was impressive, but let's temper our expectations. And number 29, I have the Carolina Panthers. This team's confusing because on one hand, we thought they were going to rebuild, and usually when you rebuild, you kind of tank a little bit, even if you don't tank all the way, but you kind of tank a little bit. And then they go out and they sign Teddy Bridgewater and give him all this money. They re-sign McCaffrey, but then they also got rid of wide receiver Robbie Anderson.
Got.
So it's a little confusing to me because are you rebuilding or are you trying to rebuild while also getting better? Which, if that's the case, I'm on board. I love that. I kind of hate teams that just tank. The whole tank for Tua thing with Miami, I hated it at first, but then Flores came in and excited them, and they played really well and won some games. So I like that. So if this team is trying to rebuild while also still trying to get better, I love that. On offense, they have some weapons, and I'm intrigued to see what Teddy can do with the likes of DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson, of course, C-Mac. I really like their offseason because, yes, it seems like they're on rebuild mode, but they're getting better. So I'm very excited to see what this team does. Drew, give us the next four.
All right, you ready? I got 28. I ranked the New York Giants. I like Daniel Jones. He's grown on me. At first, I was one of those people who are just kind of like, that number 6 overall Daniel Jones is stupid. But he has promise. I mean, I do think that, he's not going to be the next, like, John Elway or some sort of generational talent that can go out there and win games immediately. But if you surround him with some talent other than Saquon Barkley, I'm not a fan of Evan Ingram. I'm not going to be a hater, but I don't think that he's somebody that's a reliable tight end.
He can't stay healthy.
No, he can't. Golden Tate is another one. He's supposed to be in there with like the number 1, number 2 receiver. He's not that good. He just does not have any talent around him. Same thing. I think that they have Andrew Thomas. They picked number 4 overall. I think he's going to be great. Good for Saquon. Good for Daniel Jones. But that defense, right now, think of somebody that's on that defense.
Blake Martinez.
There you go. Blake Martinez, Jabril Peppers. Or is it Jabril? No, is it? It's not Jabril Peppers. Anyway, I can't think of much. There's just not, like, what my point is.
There's not much.
There's not much there. I know I'm not a Giants fan, but I think that they're trending in the right direction, although I think they could have improved even more this year, and they didn't. So this is why they're so low. Same thing for number 27 is the New York Jets. Okay, I think Mekhi Becton is going to be great. Maybe he can help Daniel, the Terminator.
The Terminator, get it right.
Sorry. Donald Schwarzenegger from keeping sea ghosts. Maybe that will help him from, keeping him off his back. I do think that there's still no talent in the receiving corps. I don't want to hate on them, but there's just no premier passer, or receiver. There's not somebody that you say, okay, there's 2 minutes left. You're on your opponent's 40.
Chuck it up to that guy.
Exactly. Maybe with Mekhi Becton that can help them, boost Le'Veon Bell because they still have him under contract. I still think he's an awesome football player. So we'll see. That's why I have them kind of lower. Number 26, I have the Carolina Panthers. Matt Rule is going to come in here. He signed a big long term contract. I think that he can come in here and build something special. They did some really cool parts this offseason, but I'm just not expecting them. The reason why they're so low here is because they have to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New Orleans Saints, and the Atlanta Falcons each twice a year. And I think that's going to be really hard for them to have a successful season when they have such talented opponents in their division. So I'm not hating on them. I think that, Teddy Bridgewater is he's good enough to win. Christian McCaffrey is probably the most electric, if not the best, offensive player in the league right now. And then I think Robbie Anderson could be pretty good with DJ Moore. They have the right thing. I think I'm a big Derek Brown fan from their first round pick. They have the right things moving forward, and I'm not hating on this. Like, why you have them at 26? It's just because they're not expected to be good because it's a slow build. It's gonna be a very slow build, but I think they have a really bright future.
Yeah, they could surprise us. I mean, I had them even lower than you, and they could surprise the both.
Exactly. I'm not saying they're bad. I just think that the deck is stacked against them right now. Number 25, I have the Chicago Bears. Look, I love Chicago. My mom lived in Chicago for 2 years as a travel nurse. I loved going to visit her there. It's a very big part of my heart. And I love the Monsters of the Midway. But I think Jim Nagy's newness and fun and this, that, and the other is definitely worn off. He's worn out his welcome. I think that this front office is definitely eating their words and kicking themselves for trading up one spot and sacrificing so much for Mitchell Trubisky. They're going to have to eventually just say, yeah, that 1 year of production in North Carolina was not good enough because this guy's not good.
Who would have thought 1 year of production in North Carolina?
I would also – never mind, I'm not going to go there. But I do think that – they're just going to have to, I think this year they could definitely clean house. I'm not a big fan of that. I love Chicago. I like the Bears. They're probably my favorite NFC team. But I just think that I can see them cleaning house this year because they're not going in the right direction, It's just, they never gone off the ground. Jim Nagy had some great ideas, but I think he's been figured out, and not having a solid starting quarterback right now, because right now it is May the 26th and we do not have a actual starter named to the Chicago Bears. Some news sources says it's Nick Foles. Some people say it's still Mitchell Trubisky. We don't know. So go ahead, Pedro. What have you got?
Yeah, I've actually got them a lot higher than you do.
The Chicago Bears?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Well, in a while, actually. At number 28, I have the Miami Dolphins. Listen, the Dolphins gave up the most sacks in the league last year with 58.
Which is why you should not start Tua this year.
That's not going to go away just like that. Obviously, they did address it in the draft, but rookies take time to develop.
Exactly.
And the issues won't go away right away. And who's going to play at quarterback? You don't think it should be Tua? I don't think it should be Tua at first, but there's a lot of rumors going around that he will get the chance to start early.
I know.
And I think that's a mistake because no matter how well he looks, it's different when you get out there and you get hit. When you get out there and those ankles get stressed, that hip gets stressed. Tua needs time. I know he's a special talent, and they're going to see him at practice, and they're going to go, we have to start this kid. He's special. Patience. I still think Fitzpatrick can go out there and give us some magic. They need patience. But this team's not going to be just great out of the blue. I love what Flores has done. I love that mentality, that winning mentality, that will run through a wall for you kind of mentality that he's instilling in this team. And that's great. Let's give them some time. 27, I have the Los Angeles Chargers here. This is a good defensive unit, a great defensive unit, actually.
Absolutely. Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa come at the edge. That's elite.
It's scary.
That's elite.
The questions I have for this team revolves around the offense, and more importantly, Justin Herbert or Tyrod Taylor, whoever's going to play there. I'm just not convinced. I'm not convinced with either of them. I think they should go with Tyrod. I'm definitely not convinced with Herbert, and I feel like whoever plays will struggle at first. Now, if Tyrod Taylor begins the season, sometimes that transition from veteran quarterback to rookie quarterback can get a little messy also. So this team has great weapons, great defensive unit, but they will struggle. Now, how much they struggle, maybe I'm a little too low on them, but we will see. Number 26, I have a candidate to be my team, the Detroit Lions. If you guys don't know, I don't have a team.
It's the Detroit Lions.
Kind of late to the ball
It's
game.
the Detroit Lions.
I was introduced to football in middle school, and I haven't found that connection to a team. But I like Jeff Okudah. I think it was great that they drafted him. Let me just go in a quick little segment about that. I came up with this theory, right? They're losing Darius Slay, or they lost Darius Slay. They need to replace him with Jeff Okudah, and that wasn't really just a huge surprise point. It didn't really surprise people that I was saying that, but it's kind of why.
Yeah.
I came up with a motto for the Detroit
And
Lions
it's
fans
perfect.
to live by.
It fits like a glove.
Akuda Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Akuda Matata. You won't even miss Slay. It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's your touchdown free
And he's not a Lions fan.
philosophy. Akuda Matata. It's just great. You gotta love it. We'll see. They're a candidate for my team, but look, okay. Moving past that, Matthew Stafford seems to be healthy. And that is huge for this team.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford is not a bad quarterback. There's a
No.
lot of people that have him top 10 quarterback in the league. And there's reasons why. I know that sounds maybe a little iffy for other people that are not Matthew Stafford believers or that are not Detroit Lion fans. But listen to this. Last year, Matthew Stafford was in the top 5 in top QVR versus man coverage, top QVR versus zone coverage, top QVR versus the blitz, and the other players that are on that list consistently: Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Matthew Stafford. Now, I'm not saying he's Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. I'm just saying that this is a huge piece to that offense. Listen, Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones, and all these the receiving unit had David Blech throwing to him. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. Blech. Matthew Stafford is back. This team is going to make some noise. They have DeAndre Swift coming in there.
Spoken like a true Lions fan, I tell you. He's like, I'm not a Lions fan.
But I'm excited to see what they do.
He makes a little cute jingle for their first round draft pick, and he defends this quarterback.
They're up there. They're top 3, and they're in the running. At number 25.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about this in another episode. If it's top 3 in the running, I want to know who the other 2 are. But anyway, go ahead.
That's
Keep
to be
going.
determined. At number 25, I have the New York Jets here. I do expect this team to get better. They lost Robbie Anderson, but in comes Denzel. This is why I'm hot. Mims. That's his name, by the way. They still have Le'Veon Bell, but goodness gracious, Le'Veon Bell, terrible last year. Part of it was the offensive line, yes. But we were all kind of like, okay, what is Le'Veon Bell going to do now that he's not in a team with a powerful offensive line? And we got our answer. 3 yards per carry. 3.1, excuse me. 3.1 yards per carry. 3 rushing touchdowns. Again, Tom Brady had 3 rushing touchdowns. 42-year-old Tom Brady had 3 rushing touchdowns. The same as Le'Veon Bell. And we all know Le'Veon Bell's a stud. He still is. He's not out yet. I do expect that to get better. They gave it the 4th most sacks in the league. I do expect that to get better. We talked about Mekhi Becton. We talked about the Terminator, Darnold Schwarzenegger. He needs to get better, and I do believe he's a good quarterback. He had a rocky start after he missed, the 4 games early in the season with mono for going around smooching with people. It's okay. I understand. And then when he came back, he did good. The last 8 games of the season, listen to this. In the second half of the season, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. This team will get better.
Absolutely.
Number 25, New York Jets. Drew?
All right, number 24 I have Pedro's team, the Detroit Lions. The reason why I have them low is the same reason I have them for the Carolina Panthers. They're in a pretty tough division with the NFC North. Both the Packers and the Minnesota Vikings, I think, will be a street fight for that division. And the Detroit Lions are going to be it's going to be hard for them to make the wild card, even though half of the conference is in this playoffs now. I do believe that the Detroit Lions are on the right track. I think that Jeff Okudah is going to be great for that defense. He can do anything on that.
Akuda Matata.
that secondary. Thank you for that. And then Matthew Stafford is going to be really good. I do believe that Matthew
Yeah.
Stafford is. You can make your little argument for him
Thank
being
you.
top 10.
Thank you.
I believe that he could be. You can convince me that. The only thing that worries me about this whole thing is it's going to ride on Matthew Stafford's back, quite
Yeah.
literally.
Literally.
And I think that he can come in here. DeAndre Swift will hopefully, maybe Kerryon Johnson will not break his whatever in the first game.
Or maybe he needs to, and they'll go with Swift.
I think they could easily split that backfield and make it something where it's not all relied on Matthew Stafford. So they're at 24. I think they're a good team. They're down here because they're just going to be in a tough spot. Number 23, the Las Vegas Raiders. Look, Mike Mayock, I think, is a pretty good GM, except for sometimes I don't understand his drafting. He'll come in there and he just overthinks things. And I think that he also comes in there for guys for a lot of production from big schools. And I think that he comes in here and takes really good player in the first round, and he has another pick in the first round, and really is just like, what the heck was that? So that, and I'm just not the biggest John Gruden fan. I think that he's just he's more of like, hey guys, watch this, and then he goes in there.
Hold my beer.
Exactly. That's just I don't know. Anyway, the Raiders are really good. I do believe that. It's the same thing. You're gonna have the Chargers and the Chiefs and the Broncos that I have up higher later on in this. I just think that they're just gonna be. I'm not expecting them to be a playoff team. Just because they're gonna have better competition ahead of them. The 22nd overall, I have the LA Rams. See, this is a team that really frustrates me. You have a lot of good talent, but then again, you sacrifice you sacrifice your future for this talent. And what do you have to show for it? They traded away their first round picks. They traded away different players, this, that, and the other. They let big players walk, and then they go to the Super Bowl for that one run.
But let me ask you this: if they had won the Super Bowl,
It'd been worth it.
it would have been worth it.
Absolutely. Super Bowl.
But not a Super Bowl appearance.
No. Because you don't have sustained success. You go to a Super Bowl run.
You better win it.
You better win it.
If you're
If you're going to
trade
trade your entire future, first round picks, everything, go to the Super Bowl, you win it. Say if you go over, because
Yeah.
Do you remember who the Patriots beat in their first Super Bowl?
No.
Do you know who the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat in their Super Bowl?
Double no.
That's my point. Like, people don't remember losers. They remember winners. And if you ain't first, you're last. So, number 21, I have the LA Chargers. I love everything besides the quarterback position and the LA Chargers. Everything is just great, and I love it. They have a high-powered offense besides the quarterback. Their defense is slowly becoming. I cannot wait for that one more piece. I'm not sure what it is, whether it's a pass-rushing defensive tackle or another all-pro cornerback. Yeah. One or the other, if not both, can come in there and potentially stop Patrick Mahomes. I know that's kind of like stupid to say.
Stop or slow down. Let me give you a chance here. Stop or slow down.
Stop.
Oh goodness. Stop it.
No, seriously though, I think that this defense is really good. You have Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa coming off the edge, and then you have Derwin James, a healthy Derwin James, coming into this season. They have a Kenneth Murray, who was just this quarterback of that Oklahoma defense, coming in here and is going to call the plays for this Chargers defense. I just think that there's so much goodness that is going on for this thing. Now, look, Justin Herbert. He's going to have to sit behind Tyrod Taylor, which I think Tyrod Taylor could be a really good quarterback. I mean, he's not going to be top 10, top 5, whatever, but he's going to be able to game management and throw to Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry and hand off the ball to Austin Eckler.
And throw it to Austin
Eckler. But the thing is, you don't have to have a top-notch quarterback. I think it's going to take a while for them to develop their guy, Justin Herbert. And I don't really know if he was really worth that high of a pick. Time will tell.
Yeah.
All right. So, Pedro, take it away for your number 24.
Yeah, with number 24, I have the New York Football Giants here. And the questions around this team are on the defense for sure.
Yeah.
I believe they need more they need to pressure the opposing quarterbacks more. I believe that they gave up a lot of passing yards last year. I don't believe that. That's a fact, actually. They gave up a lot of passing yards last year, a lot of touchdowns, and they did take some defensive players in the draft. They did sign Blake Martinez, and, of course, they took Andrew Thomas to protect Daniel Jones. But this team will evolve, but I don't know I don't know if they've answered their questions with the right answers, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've made the right moves. I'm not.
I don't think you'll
100.
ever regret taking Andrew Thomas, though.
No, not him. But defensively, and then their quarterback, I don't know if I am all in on Daniel Jones and the passing game, but we'll see how it evolves. There's not much to say about Saquon. I mean, Saquon he's got so much talent. He will get his no matter
what.
what.
The thing is, I gotta be careful with that because you do not want to Carnell Williams, this kid, run him into the dirt, and then all of a sudden you had like 3 or 4 good years with him. Now he's nothing.
But my point here, and why I have him so low, is who's Daniel Jones going to throw it to? Golden Tate?
Golden Tate.
Is he gonna? Can he stay healthy? Evan Ingram, can he stay healthy? I love Darius Slayton, the young wide receiver. I love him, but that's it. They need some help.
They need an Odell Beckham. Oh wait.
Speaking of which, at number 23, I have the Cleveland Browns. I am still excited about the Browns and their potential. They have so much talent, but unfortunately, this is just a team with. Oh, they had great potential. Do you remember that team with all those stars? They sucked. Maybe that's the case here. But they have a lot of talent, but a talent alone cannot win. It takes a team. I am curious to see what Baker does this year with 2 new great tackles, by the way. Conklin, ex-Tennessee Titan, and they did draft Jedrick Wills from Alabama.
That's going to be amazing offensive line.
And so that is a good offensive line.
Fun fact, Nick Chubb is like top 10 in MVP odds because of that.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it, but let's hold our horses there because guess who's there all year this season?
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt. I think he's going to eat into his workload more than people would want. But anyways, so Cleveland Browns, 22. One of the teams I'm most excited to see this year. Are they runners in my team? Are they runners for my team? I don't know. Are they? We'll see. The Arizona Cardinals. I'm very excited to see this team. I'm so excited.
This is news to me.
Listen, this team was porous on defense, though, especially over the air, but over the ground, too. They were just bad on defense. They go out and they draft Isaiah Simmons, which is a great start to make this team the team better on the defensive side. We've talked about it many episodes ago. I think he'll slow down Wilson. You don't stop Russell Wilson. The disrespect. Oh, my goodness. Look, he can play many positions. We talked about it. Later on, they take a couple of defensive tackles, and they took an offensive lineman as well. But how can you not be excited for this team? Kyler Murray had a great season last year for a rookie. The touchdowns didn't quite fall for him. He only had like 20-some touchdowns. But if he can make that number come up a little more, which, I mean, they've got a new wide receiver in town. I don't know if you've heard of him. DeAndre Hopkins. He's great. They have Christian Kirk. They still have Larry Legend there. They have Andy Isabella. That was a rookie last year out of Maryland. This is a great team. Kenyon Drake had an amazing end of the season for them.
He's been there the whole year now.
It's about the defense. If this defense can start clicking, I'm very excited for this team, and I am go ahead and telling you they're going to be in the running for a playoff spot. I don't know if they'll get it, but they'll be in the running for a playoff spot.
That's bold.
Well, this year especially with extra playoff spots, being handed out left and right.
Yeah.
Very excited. Number 21, the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm not counting them out just yet. I know you you don't like them or you have questions, and I do too. But Derek Carr's a good quarterback. Josh Jacobs is going into his second year, and offensively they weren't terrible last year. About middle of the pack in all categories. So can they take that step forward? The defense does need to get some help, though. They need to pressure the quarterback a little more. I feel like they need a player like, I don't know, Khalil Mack. I think that's the second time we've mentioned it. But 21, Las Vegas Raiders.
All right, let me lead off into my number 20 through 16 here, or 20 through 15. 17. It's been a long day.
Math is hard.
It is hard. Ask my math teachers. They'll probably sob. The bottom four I had labeled teams that know they are not good. The next one is called Not Next Year. The next one is called Maybe Next Year. Now this one, get ready, folks, because I'm going to tell it like it is.
Oh, my goodness.
The next four teams are my most overrated teams. They're going to be right smack dab in the middle. Here we go. Number 20, Houston Texans. Now, listen to me. If you want to know how I really feel about the Houston Texans, listen to the last episode, okay? Yeah. I do not want to sound like a homer because I'm wearing a Colts hat and they are division rivals. No, the thing that makes me mad about them is they're not supposed to be good. And then all of a sudden they make the playoffs. They win a division. But the thing is, they shouldn't. They traded away Jadeveon Clowney. They traded away DeAndre Hopkins. I think they overpaid Laramie Tunsil. It's just so frustrating. Anyway, we're not going to go any farther than that. They're my number 20 team. Number 19, the Cleveland Browns. They will not go a single step farther until I see them actually reach their potential. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the past 3 years. Baker Mayfield's going to be great. Yes, he's had flashes, but shut your mouth. Baker Mayfield, you have not put it where you say you're going to put it. And it's
whoa.
It's stupid. You have Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, and you have David Njoku. It's frustrating. Myles Garrett, the former number 1 overall pick. Same thing for Baker Mayfield. It's just there's so much potential around them, whether it is the coaching staff or not. I think that they could have such an incredible season. They could be a top 10 team just by looking at their roster alone. But because they are the Cleveland Browns, because they are so poorly managed, I'm not saying that I don't believe in their head coach, but I don't think their head coach is going to do anything. And I hate that because I love Cleveland Browns fans. I think you are the lifeblood of the NFL. You deserve so much more, and I hope you get so much more out of this. I really do. I don't want to pretend this guy's an idiot. He's trashing our team. But if you look at it the way, I'm a fan of another team looking at it, I'm cheering for you. I want this to happen. I want you guys to come in there and beat the Ravens and beat the Steelers and go in there and make the playoffs and shut everybody up. I just don't see it happening. Okay, that's just my opinion. It's not Pedro's. He can chime in if he wants about how he feels about the Browns. He's already talked about them, but it's just so frustrating because I know you guys deserve more, and this roster is probably on paper one of the most top rated ones. Yeah. Number 18. This is going to be a hot subject. The New England Patriots.
Oh,
I think that the New England Patriots are overrated in a sense because they're gonna, this is a real weird transition phase for them. They don't have Tom Brady. They don't really have a true direction. We know they're gonna pass it because X, or we know they're gonna run it because Y. We don't even know who their actual starter is. We assume it's Jarrett Stidham. We know that they have the greatest coach of all time in Bill Belichick. They had a really generic New England Patriot this past draft. I do believe that a lot of good things can happen for this team, but then again, we don't know. Last year they had Tom Brady. They had this player. We know, okay, they went to the Super Bowl with this team 2 years ago.
Right.
But this year we don't have no idea. So I put them at 18. Number 17, this is another one that's kind of unpopular. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I do believe 17. that 17. I do believe that they can easily come in here. They are a talented roster, okay, but I'm gonna put on the brakes a little bit. You have a 43-year-old Tom Brady. You have a 31-year-old Rob Gronkowski coming in here after he's had a battered career. He's one of the greatest tight ends of all time. But think about how many season-ending like surgeries he's had. He's had dislocated knee, repairing that, multiple back surgeries. His elbow, he's always messed up, always wearing that elbow brace. I think, if this were 6 or 7 years ago, I would say, holy crap, they're going to come in here and represent the NFC. But I don't know. This is where I'm just kind of slowing the brakes. Everybody wants to dub them the best because they have touchdown Tom. But here, I have him at 17.
Yep.
Pedro, go ahead.
Number 20, the Atlanta Falcons. Listen, I don't know what to think about this team because they have no business whatsoever being as bad as they were last year. At all.
That doesn't make sense.
Look at the talent.
That's
Matt
amazing.
Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Devonta Freeman last year. Now they have Gurley. This team should not be as bad as they were last year. I feel like they will have a bounce back year, and watch out for them to be a surprise in that division with the Saints and the Buccaneers. But I need to see it first. After what they did last year, I'm sorry, but I think they deserve to be this low. Number 19, the Denver Broncos. It's all about Locke, and if he can take that step forward in his second year of this offense, and it's going to be fun to watch because what an offense it's shaping up to be. If Melvin Gordon can kind of show out and take us back to a few years ago, Philip Lindsay is still electric, and he's still there. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. Goodness gracious, this team is looking great, and they have Noah Fant, who really had just one play last year, but it was quite a play. And they drafted Fast Alberto. I'm not going to try his last name, but the other tight end they have there. And so this is an exciting team, and they still have a good defense. So number 19, Denver Broncos. Number 18, the Houston Texans. Listen, they're probably going to move down for me as the offseason keeps going, as I kind of digest the offseason a little more and we get closer to season.
Yeah.
I think they're going to go down for me, but I have them at 18. I don't think Brandon Cooks will stay healthy. And as much as I believe Deshaun Watson, I don't think him alone can overcome this. And I don't believe in David Johnson anymore. I think he'll have some good games. I think maybe a change of scenery will do some good to him, but I don't know if he can stay healthy. And we saw his numbers decline. I mean, he just looked slower. So, besides the Arizona Cardinals' best player and best manager is still there, Bill O'Brien. All right, 17, the Los Angeles Rams. I have them a little higher than you.
Yeah.
Because I still believe that they have a couple of years left of being decent, at least. I agree 100%. Let me preface. I agree 100% that they threw their future away for that one Super Bowl run. But I do believe they still have a year or two of being playoff contenders and being good.
As long as you have Aaron Donald on the field, you have a chance.
Yeah. They gave up the fewest sacks last year in the whole league, and they had the fifth most passing yards, but the passing touchdowns were towards the bottom of the league. So if Jared Goff can kind of step it up a little more, if the rookie running back Cam Akers that they drafted can kind of give them a little bit of production as a rookie. I don't think they even believe in Darrell Henderson. They wouldn't even give him the ball last year when he was there, and Todd Gurley was struggling. So I think it's going to be the Cam Akers show. They still have a good defense, somewhat. Their offensive line is not great, though. So I still believe that they will give you that kind of 17th kind of overall team. That's why they're there. But they will not be Super Bowl contenders anymore. Drew?
All right, this is where these four teams are called on the bubble. these guys, I think that are probably like on the verge, can go either way of playoff teams because we're in 16 through 13. So these could be playoff teams. Okay, so that's why I have them in the bubble here. Number 16, I have the Denver Broncos. I know that they have a lot to prove, but I am so excited for this young team. But they also have some really proven players where it needs to be proven. You have Drew Lock had a pretty decent start last year. I'm not gonna lie. And then you have Jerry Jeudy coming in here, who I think is such a talented guy. He's a great possession receiver that can come in here and just slide on in as a starter and help with Cortland Sutton, who's that big-bodied receiver. You have Noah Fant, who's their first-round draft pick last year at tight end. You have a guy that's already familiar with Drew Lock with Albert O. And then you have Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay in the backfield. I love this. I love this so much. And don't forget, you have Bradley Chubb, a healthy Bradley Chubb from this year, and Von Miller coming off the edge. I love it. I love this team. That's why I have them higher here. I think they could easily come in here and get a wild card spot. I don't think they're going to win the AFC West, obviously, because of that certain team in Kansas City. Number 15, we have the Atlanta Falcons. I love this team because on paper it's so exciting. It's electric. You have 11 starters on offense of our first-round draft picks. 11. I think it's the first time ever. 11. All 11 starters are first-round draft picks. And I think that this year, last year was their offensive coordinator, Dirk Cotter's first year. And I think that, as soon as they get more established with this team, they have Hayden Hurst in this offense, who I think, we talked about a couple episodes ago. He could easily be a better player on a different team.
Atlanta.
And,
especially Atlanta. We talked about how we don't really believe that Austin Hooper, the phenomenon last year, was Austin Hooper.
Yeah.
Maybe it was more
because
of the
Calvin
scheme.
Ridley and Julio Jones. Sorry.
No, hold on. Time out. I love that. Julio Jones.
But it's just stupid to me how it's Julio Jones and not Julio Jones. Or not Julio Jones. We haven't really talked about that.
No, we should.
You speak the Spanglish. And it shouldn't be Julio Jones.
Well, I think what it is that
Julio
we're
Jones
pronouncing Julio with the Spanish kind of accent because it's a Spanish name and Jones is an English name.
Yeah. But he's 100% USDA American.
You talk to him and his parents.
That's weird.
They could have said it was
Same
Julio
thing.
Jones.
Is it why if goose or geese, why aren't mooses meese? Anyway.
Good question.
Anyway,
Nothing but the hard, cold facts here.
Right here.
Gridiron
This is Shower Thoughts, brought to you by Drew. All right, so 15, I'm a big fan of the Atlanta Falcons. I do believe they can compete in this very competitive NFC South division. If they can come in there and win a couple of key games against the New Orleans Saints or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they can make a big playoff push. We have number 14. I'm higher on this team than Pedro, but we have the Arizona Cardinals. We talked about this offense. They have DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Legend.
They're going to move up for me.
And
they will.
And they have the thing that sold me was Kenyon Drake. He had a fantastic season after he was traded from Miami, and I think that another thing that their secret weapon is not Isaiah Simmons. It's Chandler Jones. You look at this guy, you look at his stats, he's top 5 in everything. And I think that he can come in here. He's probably the most quiet, underrated defensive player in the league. And he's coming in here killing it. And he can come in there and he could be that X factor coming off the edge there. Let's see. Number 13, the Philadelphia Eagles. I do believe that this team could do something if they could just figure out what they want to do. Last couple episodes I talked about how the Eagles were my losers. Does not mean I don't think they're a good team. I think that maybe their first round draft pick, what's his name?
Jalen Reagor.
Rager. Sorry, it's Jalen Rager.
Rager Targaryen.
For some reason, I want to call him Jalen Ramsey, but it's Jalen Rager at TCU. He has trouble with some drops.
Yeah,
got the
dropsies.
And they had a surefire way to get Justin Jefferson anywhere that's behind us. We have a really good quarterback in Carson Wentz. This defense, I think, is improving because they got Darius Slay, who's a really good cornerback.
Yeah, not as good as Jeff Okudah.
Yeah, okay. And then they still have Fletcher Cox, who's a really good defensive tackle. So I do think that this team could easily compete for the NFC East, if not get a wild card. There you go. That's what I have. What you got for us?
At number 16, I've got the Chicago Bears. I told you I had them a little higher than you, or a lot higher than you.
I don't understand why. Tell me why.
I will tell you why. Because this team, they've got all the pieces. They're missing one piece, and of course it's a key piece. But they're missing a quarterback, a competent quarterback. Sometimes that's all you need to make a deep playoff run, or to make it to the playoffs and have a good season is a competent quarterback. And I think they will get one once Nick Foles beats Trubisky out of the starting position. I think I said it, I was like episode 1 or 2, long time ago now, it feels like, that Foles would be the starting quarterback in Chicago by week 4, and you called me out on it, and I told you, write it down. He may even be the starting quarterback at the beginning of this season. Mitchell Trubisky, the Chicago Bears did not take his 5th-year option into play, and that's never a good sign, especially when you pay Foles that much money and bring him in kind of as a savior kind of piece. They have a good defense. They've got great players. I love Allen Robinson.
And that's another thing I want to put up, is Allen Robinson had an incredible year last year.
With Foles.
With
Trubisky.
I think he comes in here, he had 98 catches and 1,100 yards. That's pretty good. That's better than any other guy I can think of besides Tyreek Hill or something like that. But for thinking of the situation he's in, he had a really good year. He's very consistent. I think he's very under the radar.
How many targets did he have? You got it pulled up?
Targets, he had 154 targets.
He's a target machine, and that's kind of the main reason why. If you look at Trubisky's number. Trubisky's numbers a little bit into depth here.
Yeah.
He was towards the bottoms of completed air yards, just meaning that he didn't let it go very often. He didn't chuck it down the field very often. And a lot of that has to do with maybe the coaching staff not calling those plays, but they don't call those plays for a reason. They don't believe in him. They're losing their faith in him. His QBR was abysmal. It was 83. Which put him around the names, around the likes of Eli Manning, who's now retired, Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins,
who's a rookie?
Devlin Hodges,
Duck Hodges,
and David Blah. So no, I don't believe in Trubisky. Sorry, Chicago fans. Sorry, Trubisky truthers. If there's any Trubisky truthers out there left. But I do think things will get better with Foles, and that's why I have him so high. At number 15, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's all about Ben Roethlisberger for this team, I think, because I'm just going to take last year and, just scratch it. Never even happened. Just forget about it, Pittsburgh fans. Forget about it. Juju Smith-Schuster, fantasy football owners like myself, just it didn't happen. Yeah. It didn't happen. It was rough. But we saw that video last week of Ben Roethlisberger throwing the football.
With Juju.
Throwing NFL throws.
Cutting his beard,
trimming it, looking like a normal man and not a homeless person. So it all revolves around
like
that.
Captain Caveman to me. If you ever throwback, look up Captain Caveman and then look up Ben Roethlisberger.
He's looking rough. He was looking rough.
That's what you got.
So will this team... Listen, even with all those problems, they almost made the playoffs. So if Ben Roethlisberger comes back and even gives us 80% of him, this team will be a playoff team. I'm just worried about James Conner and if he can stay healthy. But I really like the Pittsburgh Steelers this year to have a bounce back year. They're 15 and not any higher because I need to see it. Number 14, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a good team.
Yeah.
They have a good team. They were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's the receiving unit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, towards the end of the season,
receiving unit and secondary.
Yeah. Oh yes, for sure. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm just more offensively minded than you.
Yeah, I guess so. But like you look at their trenches, both their offensive
Mm-hmm.
line and their defensive line, they have really good
They do.
both. You
Yeah.
know, and I think that's where you really win the games. And you have Miles Sanders. You know,
Miles Sanders is great, but it's all about the receiving unit for me because
true.
for a while there, towards the end of the season, one of their main receivers was Boston Scott,
Boston Scott.
the running back.
That's right.
So can everybody stay healthy? Can Jalen Rager just go ahead and start taking your Flintstone multivitamins right now?
Right now.
Just you need them apparently. At number 13, I have the New England Patriots. Got them a little higher than you
A little bit.
because I'm giving them the respect that they have earned, in my opinion.
I didn't like not. I don't
I'm
mean
not-
to disrespect.
yeah. I'm not saying he was being disrespectful, but
we don't know what direction they're going in.
I agree, and that's why I have them so low, in my opinion, low. Honestly, I think they end up lower at the end of the season.
I'd expect them to be lower than the season.
So, but
mean-
13 New England Patriots, we don't know who their quarterback's going to be. We think it's going to be Stidham, but they did bring in Brian Hoyer. Julian Edelman's getting older, and he was like the focal point of that offense. It
although
seemed
he
like
does have a rocking bod.
he does. He's got that rough kind of look
Yeah,
that the ladies are like, huh?
yeah. And Pedro too.
But Sonny Michel, oh my goodness, how Sonny Michel's young, but his knees are like 40 years old, or his one knee. He cannot stay healthy, and he looked terrible. And the other running backs in the team are more like pass catching running backs. They're not between the tackle kind of running backs. So just all around, this team is looking rough. Looking rough. Drew?
All right, here we go. This tier of teams are called the wild card teams because I think this team can definitely, if they do not win their division, they can gain that wild card. We have number 12, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look, you got Ben Roethlisberger coming back, and I think that he's going to have something to come out and prove. I think that he's going to come out there with his head on fire, and he's going to be back. I firmly believe that. Even if he's just like not even back to the old Ben what he was a couple years ago, he's still going to be an upgrade from
Mason Rudolph.
Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. So we have that established, and you know they can work at the think with Big Ben. He's kind of that emulsifying factor that can make, you know, he can make up for their sins on offense. I do believe that. But you got to think about this: their defense. Their defense is elite. And, you know, you think you have Bud Dupree coming off the edge, T.J. Watt, and then you have Devin Bush in there in the middle. I think, yeah, he was amazing. I don't know why he didn't win Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was so good. Like, I've watched him on TV. He's incredible. He's an incredible player. And then you have Minkah Fitzpatrick comes in there and has an All-Pro season. Like, good for that guy. He's incredible. And I think that this defense is nothing to really bat an eye at. So that's number 12. Number 11, Seattle Seahawks. You know, Russell Wilson has never had a losing season. And I think this team can easily come in here and duke it out with the 49ers. Maybe the 49ers have a Super Bowl slump. Who knows? But this team will definitely be in contention to win the NFC East. If not, they'll probably get the wild card easily. Number 10, we have the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the Minnesota Vikings, I do believe, there are, in my rankings, about 3 spots between the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. And I think that it will, like I said earlier with the Lions, it will be a street fight for the NFC North because these teams are just so poised and ready for a run. I think maybe Green Bay might have an edge on them, but this Minnesota offseason, they reloaded very nicely, and I think that they can come in here and do something special. Number 9, I have the Tennessee Titans. Now, a lot of people, we're in Tennessee, and a lot of people were like, "Well, that's disrespectful because we were in the AFC Championship last year." And all due respect, you know, how much of that was situational? How much of that can be replicated? That's my thing. Can you replicate this? This is not my final power ranking. You can come up anytime. But I have a lot of questions on how well can Tannehill continue. Will Derrick Henry have a year like he had last year and come in here and just mow over everybody? I hope so. I hope that the Tennessee Titans make things interesting. I want that defense. That young defense is coming in here, and they're looking great. I just have questions, and that's why I have them at number 9.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk to them when I get to them at number 12. Number 12, Indianapolis Colts. We've talked about this before, previous episodes. Drew is an Indianapolis Colts fan.
Obviously.
I'm not. But
it's in your top 10? Top 3, I mean? It's in your top 3?
I don't know if they're
Just
top
between
3.
the Lions, the Cardinals, and the Colts?
I don't know. No, I don't think they're top 3, but I do like them, and I like the direction they're going in. I love their draft. Yeah. I know you told me you weren't really excited for their draft because they didn't even have a first-round pick, and then it ended up being a great draft. Phenomenal draft. But I do like the Colts. This team has a great offensive line.
Yep.
Mac had some questions about his health and can he sustain production and all that. And then they bring in Jonathan Taylor, who is a beast. People are comparing him to Ezekiel Elliott. And they also go out and get Michael Pittman Jr., who is kind of beastly too. He's a big dude.
Body.
He's a big body receiver. He doesn't get that separation, but he's a throw it up there and go get it kind of player.
Yep.
The kind of player that Phillip Rivers likes, by the way.
Yep.
So
Mike Williams.
That is big for Phillip, and to see what Old Man Rivers can do in this team, because I think they're preparing for a Super Bowl run, or at least that's what it seems like. Because I cannot see Phillip playing 2 years. I think this is one and done, and that's why it's so important, I think, that they drafted Jacob Eason as well.
Yeah.
Because Jacob Eason, while he may not be the answer, but they got him, 4th, 5th round, and that's not a huge investment for potentially your franchise quarterback. So they had a great offseason, great team. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Indianapolis Colts can do. Number 11, I have Tampa Bay. I've got them a lot higher than you, and that's because this team was already getting better. It's not just, Tom Brady joins the team. Now all of a sudden we think they're a great team just because one man joined the team, even though he's potentially the greatest of all time. It's because this team was already getting better. This defense was already getting better. They have a phenomenally just amazing, possibly the best receiving core in all of football, maybe.
Potentially, yeah.
They have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate. And now they have Rob Gronkowski, the WWE 24/7 champion of the world, by the way. So this is a great receiving core, and you put a competent quarterback that's not going to turn it over 30 times. No matter what, we have questions about Tom Brady and his age and what he can do. I sign it anywhere. He will not throw 30 interceptions, excuse me. He will not throw 20. He may not even throw 15. So this team will be better. This team will be better. And so I don't think it's a matter of, Tom Brady joins and now everybody is jumping on the bandwagon, even though they are. I think it's a matter of this team was already getting better. And now you had a very competent, very, very good quarterback still. So I'm excited to see what Tampa Bay Buccaneers do.
Fun fact, he's never thrown over 14 interceptions in his entire career.
Write it down. Number 10, I have the Dallas Cowboys here. And it's kind of gross saying it because on paper they're an amazing team, and honestly they should be a little higher.
A little bit.
But they were 8-8 last year. They just find a way to lose. They find a way to lose, and let's hope that doesn't continue for them, because they are a very exciting team, or will be potentially a very exciting team to watch. They landed CeeDee Lamb, possibly the best receiver in the draft. They still have Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, who broke out a little bit last year. He had 1,000 yards, I believe 1,000 yards. They still have Ezekiel Elliott, and they lost some defensive pieces, Byron Jones, but they still have Jalen Smith, who's going to have a great year. I'm excited about this team. I'm hoping Dak and them can figure out whatever. Listen, we're not going to get into that because this episode's already running a little long.
Yeah. But
just whatever it is, whatever the solution is, I hope they can figure it out, because we just want to see football players playing.
Yeah.
Great football players. And Dak, no matter what you think of him and no matter what we say, the facts are that he played like an elite quarterback last year. So I'm very excited to see what this team does. Number 9, I'm with you, Tennessee Titans. I really wanted to put them higher, and I did at first. But then I saw the teams that I would be leaving out to put them a little higher just to give them the respect that they deserve for making the AFC Championship game, for beating New England Patriots at New England, for beating the Ravens. And then I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. This is as high as I can go. Number 9, and well-deserved. Well-deserved. But I also have questions. Is it sustainable? I don't know. I think this team potentially can get better because Mike Vrabel, there at the beginning of the season, his quarterback was Mariota. He makes the switch. He does things his way, and all of a sudden they start winning and they do great. So now, a whole year in that system, doing what Vrabel wants them to do, they have room to get better. And I wouldn't be surprised if they have an even better season. A better season, would that be Super Bowl?
It'd have to be.
It'd have to be, right? No, let me scratch that. I wouldn't be surprised if they have the same season. Okay. Oh man. Okay, Drew, take it away. Next 4.
All right. This is where things got tough for me. Okay, I struggled very hard. I put a lot of thought and a lot of study into my rankings from the offseason. And a lot of people will probably think I'm a homer. And I might be. But number 8, I put the Indianapolis Colts. I think that this team has probably top 3 best offensive lines in the league. They drafted probably the best running back in this draft class with Jonathan Taylor. You know, whether he's the best or not, you get a guy who's 6 foot, 225 that can run a 4.3. I'm excited about that. Anyway, behind Quentin Nelson blocking for you, it's incredible. And then they reloaded at the receiving core. The receiving core is better, and I do believe that Philip Rivers will be a better game manager. I'm not really sure about quarterback at this point in his career, but I think Philip Rivers will be a better game manager than Jacoby Brissett. And that's just on the offense. On the defense, I think the biggest thing that will just circle around this guy is DeForest Buckner. DeForest Buckner is a lot of people. Matt Miller of Bleacher Report said that he is the second best defensive tackle in the league behind Aaron Donald. I watch his stuff. He's a freak of nature. He's 6'7", 300 pounds. I think that he's exactly what we need. We need that 3 technique to come in there and lead that pass rush, and then he can come in there and he's big enough to tackle Derrick Henry twice a year, you know. And then we have the maniac, Darius Leonard.
Twice a year.
Yeah,
it almost slipped me. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
And then we have Derrick Henry. My goodness. We have Darius Leonard, who is the maniac. You know, he's first year in the league. He's all pro. Second year, he's second team all pro. And then you have Xavier Rhodes. If he's a fraction of the man he was in 2017, I do believe that our defense is definitely bulked up, and I'm really excited to see what they can do. I have them winning the AFC South. I thought and I studied and everything, and no disrespect to the Titans fans, but I just think that they will be able to pull it off, and we'll see. This is a
really early power rankings.
This is before we even know there's going to be a season. Number 7, we have the Green Bay Packers. The reason why I have them kind of low, they're 7 overall, is that we just don't really know what all is going to happen. This is all going to be mental. I think that, they were in the NFC Championship last year. Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. They have Devontae Adams, and this new kid they drafted, what's his name? Is it Dylan?
Jordan Love.
No, the running back.
Oh, excuse me, A.J. Dillon.
A.J. Dillon. That's right. I wanted to make sure it's A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon is a grown man. I think that he could easily become the new follow in the footsteps of Derrick Henry. He's just a big boy, and I think that you line up on the goal line, he can make stuff happen. I think that this defense is slowly developing to something, and so anyway, that's why I have them at 7. Number 6, I have, in my opinion, the AFC East champions, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are doing nothing but just going up. They improve their defense. They come in here and they get a possession receiver when Stephon Diggs. It's just everything on paper. They should dominate the AFC East. We shall see. Tom Brady's not there. It's a wide open door. So my vote for right now on May 26th, we have the Buffalo Bills as your AFC champions, AFC East champions. Now, ladies and gentlemen, number 5. I want us to discuss this just for a second. For years and years, this team has kind of been the best. People love to make fun of this team. People love to make fun of this team. They are the laughingstock of the NFL because their fans they say are obnoxious. I personally, I can take or leave them. I think it's time for us to really take the Dallas Cowboys to be serious. Again. But seriously, they do need to be taken seriously. Yes. Number 5, I have the Dallas Cowboys. I can't believe I'm saying it either, but you look at what this can bring. If you have Mike McCarthy coming in here, he's not going to be clapping on every play. I think that you have Ezekiel Elliott, who I still think is probably the best running back in the league. Like, true running back, the modern running back, where he can go in there and dominate up the middle, and he can come out of the backfield and catch passes. I think he's probably, besides Chris McCaffrey, he's more of the pass-catching kind of guy.
Yeah.
And then you have Derrick Henry, who's really good too. I'm talking about
the ends of the spectrum.
The ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
He's the best in the middle.
Yeah.
That dead middle.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
And so you have Ezekiel Elliott, who's still in his prime. You have the $100 million man, Amari Cooper. And then you have probably the best receiver in the draft, CeeDee Lamb, falling to them.
Yeah, don't forget about Michael Gallup, too. I mean,
it's just everything. And again, Dak had pretty good numbers last year. I mean, top 10 numbers.
He had great numbers last year.
He had, I think he was like in the MVP race. I don't think he actually got an MVP vote, kind of like Russell Wilson to get an MVP vote. But, like, here you are. You have Dak, who really just needs to grow up and just take the biggest contract and not go like, I want Jeff Bezos money. I just let him, give him the contract, accept it, and then go out and play football. And I think Mike McCarthy is somebody that, there's that drama around Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. He could easily come in here and coach his team to the NFC Championship game. And I know that's ridiculous for me to say that. I just think that it's time for us to really take them seriously. And I can sit here and try to pick holes in this team. This is not a perfect team, but this is a really, really good team. And I firmly believe they'll end up winning the NFC East. Go ahead, Pedro.
Number 8, I have the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Vikings are a very sneaky team this year because a lot of people, just the feeling I get, are down on them. They lose Stephon Diggs. Adam Thielen's getting a little older. Dalvin Cook, can he stay healthy all year, But watch out. This team is great. I think Justin Jefferson is going to come in, and it may take him a bit because he's a rookie, but he'll fit that role perfectly. I think Adam Thielen has a bounce-back year. I think Kirk Cousins is a great quarterback, and, they gave him an extension for a reason. They also believe in him. I think it kind of all revolves around Dalvin Cook as well, because if Dalvin can stay healthy, they play the game like they want to, which is run first, and then surprise people with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. I think this team can be dangerous and poised to make a deep playoff run. Number 7, I 100% agree with you, Drew. You have him at 6, and you were a little concerned that you had him a little too high. I've got him at 7. It's the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, I said last 2 weeks ago, whenever, they're winners for sure. And one of the biggest reasons they're winners, it's because they lost Tom Brady. Or, they didn't lose Tom Brady, but Tom Brady's gone out of that division.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a wide open path, finally, to beat the Patriots twice this year. I don't know what that was. To beat the Patriots twice this year and to win the division and make a deep playoff run. They already made the playoffs last year. They lost to the Texans. Yikes. Yeah. But this is a great team. They got better on defense. They got Epinesa, excuse me. They drafted Zach Moss in the 3rd round, which I called. And Zach Moss is that kind of bowling ball of a running back that's just going to take it right up the middle.
Perfectly with Devin Singletary.
Yeah, he's going to just kind of fill in the Frank Gore spot, who is eternal and is now in New York Jets. But I do like the Buffalo Bills to make a deep playoff run. I don't know how deep. Let's just hope that Josh Allen can kind of take a step forward.
That's Pedro's least favorite player.
No, it's not. Let me tell you why not why, but I drafted him. He's my starting quarterback in my dynasty league. I believe in mostly because he's a runner, and fantasy runners are great. But anyways, number 6, I have the Seattle Seahawks at number 6. I think this team, anytime, as long as they have Russell Wilson on their team, it's kind of hard to count them out completely.
Yeah.
They're number 6. I think that they will have another good year. They just signed Carlos Hyde. I don't think they believe that Rashad Penny will be healthy at the beginning of the season, and Chris Carson's always had health issues and fumble issues, and they signed Carlos Hyde. I don't know if that tells you anything, but I like this team to have another good year. I think Russell Wilson has never. Let me get this right. Russell Wilson has never thrown for more than 11 interceptions. Never. It's impressive. He's just a great quarterback. Number 5, I have the Green Bay Packers. I don't know if I have them too high, to be honest, but I have them at number 5 because Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
This team is different. They're running the ball a lot more because that's what what's their new coach's name? LaFleur. That's what he wants to do. He's a run-first kind of guy. So they're running the ball a lot more. But anytime they pass the ball, it's always helpful to have a Hall of Famer throwing. Mm-hmm. Now, who's he going to throw it to? That's the question. They have Devontae Adams, who's a huge asset to have in any team. He's a stud.
Yeah.
But then after that, who's their number 2? Devin Funchess? Players who you can't really pronounce their name. Equanimous is St. Brown and Marquez Valdez-Scantlin. I wasn't thrilled with their draft, and I do think they were losers this offseason. We said it a few episodes ago, but that doesn't mean that they're just the worst team in the league now. That they're still a great team. They probably will still make the playoffs, but they're trending down. Let's go with the top 4, and we'll keep it kind of short and simple because the top 4, I mean, it's just kind of obvious. And the episode's getting long.
Yeah, so number 4, I have the New Orleans Saints. We all know that they're going to be all in, of course. They drafted Cesar Ruiz to bolster their offensive line. They also signed Emmanuel Sanders to a 1-year deal, I think. He can come in there and share the spotlight with Michael Thomas. And then their defense has really gotten better with their draft and whatnot. They got back Malcolm Jenkins. I think he's going to be a great, he might not be in his absolute prime anymore, but he brings that experience, that veteran leadership. Then at number 3, we have the San Francisco 49ers. They might have a Super Bowl slump. Who knows? But I think that Kyle Shanahan is a pretty good coach. He's a really good coach. And then you have, George Kittle comes in there. And then they also have Debo. They also signed, drafted Brandon Ayuk, who can come in there and do some really good stuff. They reloaded really nicely on the defense. After they lost to Forrest Buckner in that trade, they drafted, what's his name?
Javon Kinlaw.
Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina. He can easily come in there and have DeForest Buckner-like production in the future, but at a fraction of the cost. And I think that they're still poised to come in there and be dominant in that offense. Number 2, I had the Baltimore Ravens. I think that they dominated the offseason. They are just great winners in my book. I think they got so much better on the defense to where they're not going to have a Derrick Henry run all over them anymore. It's going to be just incredibleness on that defense. That Patrick Queen, Calais Campbell, it's just beautiful. And number one, the undisputed number one champions of the world, the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that, who cares? They didn't really draft anything on defense. They're going to come in there, going to drop 40 on you and outscore you no matter what. You know, the literally flick of his wrist, Patrick Mahomes will turn that game on your head. And I do believe that the Chiefs, I don't think they're going to go anywhere for a long time in my power rankings. But they're definitely, until somebody comes in there and dethrones them, they are number one. Go ahead, Pedro.
My top four are exactly your top four. And I know that's kind of anticlimactic. I was hoping that one of us would have the Ravens at one or something like that. But I think this is the right top four.
Did I say the Chiefs? I meant the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm kidding. No, it's the Chiefs.
I think this is the right top four. Maybe you have them a little flip-flopped or whatever, and let us know in the comment section or whatever. But the FPI rankings, the Football Power Index rankings are out. I think who does that? ESPN or
I don't know.
Whoever does that. Those are out, and the likely Super Bowl, according to analytics and all that, if you believe in that, and the likely Super Bowl, supposedly, Chiefs and Saints.
That's how they were last year too, I think.
And so I think this is the right top four. I'm not going to go through it again. It's the Saints, the Niners, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. The Niners are the second favorite team to come out of the NFC, and the Ravens are the second favorite team to come out of the AFC. No surprises there. I like surprises, so hopefully we have some surprises. But even if we don't have surprises, even if that's the NFC and AFC championship, oh my goodness, I would love that.
And
Ravens versus Chiefs.
Week 6, we have the Kansas City Chiefs facing off against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
and I think that's going to be such a phenomenal matchup.
Yeah, it will. It will. Well, there it is, our 2020 way too early NFL Power Rankings. We are very excited. Sorry, it ended up being a little bit longer episode than what we're used to doing, but
we got excited because we're on camera. Hey, Mom.
We're having fun. We were having fun. We like this. Once again, Gridiron Gang Podcast at gmail.com. Send us an email. Let us know if you want to be on the show. We are a fan-first podcast for fans by fans, and we'd love to have, I think for the first however many episodes, we had at least one guest every single episode, so we'd like to go back to that. Send us a message if you'd like to be on the show. We'll get you on. Send us questions if maybe if you're a little shy or you don't want to be on the show, but you want your questions answered, your comments, send us questions. Leave us comments over on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us know how we can improve. We're always looking forward to improve. Constructive criticism. Be nice.
Even if it's mean, I don't really care. I want to get better at this. I love this. I love football. I love you. Thank you so much for watching this video.
Next week, we're going to have, I think, a kind of a question and answer episode. How's that sound, Drew? Where we're just going to take some questions from you guys, questions that we may have that we think that will go good with the for you, the fans.
Answer burning questions for each team, maybe. We'll see. We haven't really talked about next week. We have a lot of ideas. We have pages on pages of like what we can do. We're excited. We're going to have our guest Chase Goff back on here soon.
That's right.
Talk about fantasy. It's fantasy season. We're excited. I've already done like 4 mock drafts today.
Yep.
But it's just we're excited about this. What's going to go on moving forward with this show.
Yep.
And anyway, we're signing off. And I hope you have sweet dreams. But if you have to have nightmares, I hope it's spooky monster scary and not grandma died scary.
That's beautiful, beautiful sentiment. Thank you very much for watching the show. After that, I hope you come back next week.
Exactly. We'd love to have you.
Thank you very much. You guys have a good rest of the week. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.